All right, so let's start with the name of your business, who you are, and give me some history on the race riots and what your connection is with it.
Okay, so this is, I'm Cleo Harris Jr. I'm the owner of Black Wall Street T-shirts and souvenirs. I've been printing T-shirts since 2014. Started at Pine and Peoria here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in a tent in front of Taco Bell.
Wow.
That was my job. That was my ministry while going to school. I'm a graduate of the University of Tulsa. I have a BFA, Bachelor's of Fine Arts, and I also have an associate's in the history, humanities part of it. So my connection to Black Wall Street is I'm a direct descendant of Cancetti Smith. I'm the great nephew. My great grandfather is the oldest out of 9 siblings, and Aunt Cancetti is one of the siblings, younger sisters. Anyway, my aunt was a midwife down here. She helped, it's recorded on documents that she helped birth 209 babies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, her oldest son, Buddy, he said there's 800 and something children that she helped birth. But as an official statement, we only have 209. And I have those actual documents laminated and put away. She was 21 years old down here, and she was injured. My grandfather and his siblings came down here and rescued her. They did come down with guns. They were prepared, shotguns. And so they got her out of here. They were one of the families that escaped. And the story is that when they picked her up and carried her over the shoulder, they were literally stepping over and around bodies a mile.
Oh man! Wow.
So it was an atrocity. Those are the things that you will not hear in some of these documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
Documentaries that have been put out during the centennial years and even before. I'm one of many thousands who has a story to tell. I was young back in the late 70s before my aunt passed away. And I remember as a little boy, my grandmother, her niece, used to have us gather all the newspapers up and take to her car, a red Studebaker. I remember that very well. Aunt Cancetti didn't say a whole lot. But when she came to visit at my grandparents' house, the grandparents that raised me, my grandmother and Aunt Cancetti always had a real personal conversation. They visited, and you know, of course, we couldn't stay around the adults. We had to go outside and play.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember just a strange, bitter feeling. You could see it on her face. You could see it on my great-grandfather, my grandmother's dad. And now that I look back at it, the generational wealth that was taken from them caused them to have that look. Those generational wealth being taken away from them affected us today. And it affects a lot of the so-called African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And so, me being down here on Black Wall Street, I tell the story of being a little kid down here playing in these very buildings when these buildings stretched a mile on either side. I played in these buildings. I heard the horror stories of the military using submachine guns, flying planes, dropping bombs, dead bodies, 3.5 miles radius, not just on certain blocks. Bodies left on the railroad track, buried under the railroad track, bodies left in the streets, buried in the baseball field. In mass graves under the bridge, bodies being cremated over at the steel mill, and the steel mill is still there on the other side of this highway. Bodies being cremated at the brickyard. Most people don't know about the brickyard. They cremated bodies, and there are bodies all over that most documentaries are not going to talk about. I have to talk about it.
Yes.
And if I'm the only one talking about it, so be it. This is how I heal. And my people first need to know what happened down here. I talk to thousands of people every day, 6 days a week. Even if it's one per day, thousands come. And they want to know what happened, what is Tulsa trying to do to fix it? Are our people coming together? Are there many black businesses down here? They ask so many questions that it can be draining at times, spiritually draining. And so I try to stay on topic in terms of who I am. You know, I am a direct descendant. And a lot of these stories that I tell, I'm now learning about them. About my aunt, about my great-grandfather, some of my great-aunts, about my great-great-grandparents. My great-great-grandfather, Floyd Smith, he was a descendant of a slave master, or had a woman, a black woman, which was my great-great-grandmother, Sarah. And you can see in some pictures that she wasn't happy. You can see it on her face. So you're a son of a slave master, a preacher man. I mean, that tells the whole story right there. And in those times, in the 1800s, you wouldn't see a black man with a white woman, and if so, what would happen to him? He would be found in the woods, lynched. Well, guess what they did down here on Black Wall Street? They lynched us, they raped us, they lewd us, they did everything imaginable, unimaginable. They ripped black men's bodies apart on cars, they cut babies out of women's stomach, smashed the baby's head, picked the baby back up, give it to the woman, and they continue to march on down Archer to internment camps. And people wonder why. People, who are those people? The Europeans, white America, wonder why we keep saying, what about our reparations? This is why I stand for reparations. Because we're the only race of people that they keep denying to pay for the sins of their forefathers. And so anything they can do to stop and close our mouths, black people's mouths, from telling what happened down here. But I'll say it like this, like Malcolm X said it, Martin Luther King, the rooster has come home to roost. Somebody got to answer for it.
Amen.
Right? So
right.
This is why I tell the story. I tell it my way, like a friend of mine, Bobby Eaton, I always say, we tell our story the way we want to tell it. And we can't be afraid.
Exactly.
We can't have that, what they usually call in social media platforms, fear-mongering. Because anytime we talk about a Holocaust of another race, it's okay. But we have the worst Holocaust in the world history. Hundreds of millions have lost their lives and continue to lose their lives. And so Black Wall Street is the bullseye of American history. You can't hide it now. And they've always hidden our history. They who? The Europeans. That is the truth.
Yep.
White America has always lied and hid our history after burning our cities, and we're starting from scratch. No boots to strap up, no nothing. Being a resilient people, a people of royalty, just like it was down here on Black Wall Street, 7 millionaires, Madam C.J. Walker, W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Cab Calloway, a host of people came right here to the land of the free to build their American dream. And once again, jealousy, hatred,
Yes.
systemic racism destroyed this. And so this is why I tell the story the way I tell it. I let people know I am a direct descendant, and I shouldn't be ashamed of telling my story, whether I find out in the beginning of my age or whether I find out at the end. If you have a story to tell of your life history being a direct descendant, it doesn't matter what time period you fall in. Tell a story.
Yes, indeed.
Begin a healing. And so I'll just say, come down here, come into the stores, visit what stores we have that are black owned. I am a black owned business owner, and I run my own printing company, which prints a lot of the product in here. So, you know, there is value. There is value in my product. I'm not trying to be like any name brand clothing store. I'm selling t-shirts that tells the story. This is a t-shirt ministry, and it will continue to be a t-shirt ministry to my people and to those abroad. That's my story.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I will be doing a Q&A. Tell me, what do you see when you look at that? Ooh, the explanation is powerful.